Welcome to the Our Place podcast. I got two super dope people here today. I got my good friend Lungo, boom, and Keisha. You might know her from City Hall. These are two awesome people. We got a photographer and an artist in the building, and I'm gonna have them just talk a little bit about like their work and what they do. So, whichever one of you guys wants to start.
I guess I'll go. I'll go first.
Scoot up a little.
So yeah, I'm a photographer in downtown Lancaster at Photolay. We have a studio on 108 West King Street. Yeah. So we do mostly events.
Yeah.
Events that includes corporate events, weddings. We do engagements, portrait photography. And I'm pushing myself to learn more fashion photography.
Cool.
There's not much of a scene for it in Lancaster, but
Yeah.
I like it, and I'm trying to create that scene.
Yeah, I'm with it. And how long have you been there?
I've been with Photolay for 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It's gonna be 4 years in September.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Keisha?
Well, I'm an artist, obviously. Born and raised in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I paint mostly. I do henna. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make it, trying to be my own boss.
All right,
I have a couple jobs.
Yeah. Okay.
on
What's
the
your art
side.
around?
What is my art around?
Like what is your themes? Like,
My
what's going
theme,
on?
I usually like to paint women of color that
Okay.
look like myself or resemble myself. Bright colors, nature, flowers. Basically stuff I like. I paint stuff that I like.
Basically stuff that you like. I like that. That's dope. It's true to yourself.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. I met Lungo at a networking event. Gosh, what was it? 3 weeks ago?
About
3 weeks ago. So I didn't even know him that long. And then I met Keisha like a week ago at City Hall. At City Hall because she has some art on display there. So Keisha, talk to us a little bit about like having your art up at City Hall, that experience, like what's going on there.
Having my art up at City Hall it's really kind of surreal for me, I guess. Just being from Lancaster and kind of building myself from the ground up and really not really knowing what I'm doing and just going with the flow kind of thing. So I've made pretty well out, I guess, in 3 or so years since I started really pushing my art.
Yeah. Any buyers, anything like that? Like, how's the art going?
Well, the three-piece series that I have showing, plus the other piece that's not for sale, I got a call from one of the curators saying that he would like to buy my series. So
all three.
I'm supposed to meet with him on Saturday.
Dang. We have an official artist in the building. This is an Our Place exclusive. All right. What's going on? Okay, so I've seen you do a lot of personal. Like, I've actually seen her on his Instagram first. So talk about some of your personal photography. Like, what kind of inspires you to take some of those pictures?
A lot of my creative work is inspired by just my admiration and love for like good portraiture. So yeah, like I take a lot of portraits of Keisha.
Yeah.
We met at the community room at a show, actually an art show where she had her work up, and we had a conversation, and then we kept in touch, and then we did a creative shoot together. But yeah, it's just I like portraits because I like honest and great technical work in photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that, and that comes through in your work a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely, for sure. All right, what about being an artist in Lancaster? Like, what has it been like for you guys to display your work, getting attention for your work? Like, what's that journey been like for you here?
Not an easy one.
Yeah.
But it's getting there.
It's getting there?
Yeah.
Okay, so like what are some major issues you see already going on?
I guess just the representation of kinds of art that there is. I feel like Lancaster County has like a certain type of like kind of art, or it's like pertain to a certain group. of buyers. So my work isn't really, I guess, common in Lancaster.
Yeah, and it's not appreciated either.
No.
I think that's kind of what it is, and it kind of goes back to like minorities not being well represented and well cared for in this community, and I think that kind of comes back to it because especially your art having such like a black feminine energy, like that has to be somewhat intimidating or not of interest to the scene here, which is disheartening because Lancaster has such like a large minority. Like they have such a large minority group here, they're just kind of in their own little pockets. What about you with photography? Like you doing a show, you doing workshops. What is that looking like for you?
Yeah, like I'm starting a workshop because I realized that there aren't many art shows that go on in Lancaster, and I think a lot of people who get involved in the few art shows that are in photography at least are photographers that are established, like people in the industry who are already established, and there's not much for up and coming artists to come in and show their work, or spaces where up and coming artists can come and share ideas or learn from a mentor. And like mentorship is something that has really taken my work from amateur to pro. And like the 4 years I've been at Photo Ole has been my mentor. Like I call him Mr. Miyagi because he's taught me so much technical skill and just ways to navigate around the industry. And yeah, I want to be one of the creative leaders in my industry, which is photography, and also like in art in general, create spaces where people can come and show each other work and show ideas and learn from each other. And I haven't personally tried to put my work out, but that's something I've been looking into more. But then again, there isn't much of it. Like
opportunity.
Keisha goes to Philadelphia a lot, and she's done more art shows in Philadelphia than in Lancaster, even though she's based in Lancaster. Because there's not much of that going on here. And I think it's up to us, young artists with the passion and the vision to create what we see lacking.
I believe you 100%. So like he mentioned the Philly energy, so like what is it like for you showing your art there compared to here?
Just the vibe is totally different, like from the people that come to the shows. The crowd it's ages like you and I, like, but it's mixed as well, so like it's nice to see that people our age are actually out there appreciating other creatives and sharing energy and stuff like that. But really, Philly really shows me a lot of love.
And that's dope. We talked about this a little bit, like the last episode, is that the space for young people here is just non-existent. Like there is, like you said, there's nothing for the up and comers, and I think that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this show, is that we need to start alerting people that this is here and that there's talent here to be seen, and it's, I think it has to like rub us the wrong way all the time, as like, I mean, Keisha's talent, like even just looking at her work, like there's no reason why she shouldn't be able to get a show, as well as like his photography. Like there's no reason that there shouldn't be a space around here that shows that work more often, because there's so much talent hidden in Lancaster. In terms of like collaborating and like friends of yours, like do you find that like you have like a circle of people that also like have this talent and that skill that you like want to show?
I wouldn't say like I have that many creative friends here. I mean, I know some people, but honestly, I talk to more people on Instagram. Like the creative family on Instagram is really
creative
strong.
Family on Instagram.
Like Instagram opens a lot of doors.
It does. Okay, so how's that been for like you selling art and promoting your art? Like
that's
Instagram?
Really how I started selling my art. People,
Okay.
I was just posting my stuff with hashtags, and
Really?
people were just asking like, is that for sale? And I was like, sure. So then I
Sure.
just started figuring it out about
Yeah.
myself and went from there.
Yeah, I think the Instagram market is super cool, to be honest, because like Instagram for me has opened up a ton of doors to connections. Do you find yourself like having a lot of relationships on Instagram with people? Like, what about you in art and photography? Like, is that how you network a lot,
Yeah.
or is it not the same?
Yeah, a lot of people find me on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean that's how I found them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a good relationship starter, I guess.
yeah,
Because people meet each other different these days. you know?
exactly.
Not everybody has the confidence or the outgoing personality as you that just can just walk up to anybody.
Yeah.
Can just
You
walk
walked
up
up to
any-
me.
I mean, I did.
You
yeah.
did.
But
All right.
that's a rare occasion.
Sorry.
This guy just goes and talks to anybody, anywhere, at any time. You know?
I do enjoy networking. I feel like if
Yeah.
I'm in the right setting, I can do it. It's funny because I'm so quiet at other times.
Yeah.
Like, but it is true. Like, there's like a setting, and Instagram creates like this really cool doorway
Yeah.
to like really an open market. And I think
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like underappreciated right now, because like there's still a lot of old people running businesses,
Yeah.
but it's becoming more and more serious that like people just have to be on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
my whole marketing is like kind of based around Instagram for my business, and like it's just because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, like people follow each other on Instagram, and then the next time you see the person, you the ice is already broken. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's how we met. Like
Yeah, exactly.
we followed each other on Instagram, then we saw each other at the event, and it was like boom. Oh, I know him. Walk straight up to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just easier.
It's-
Like
it's
it's
easy.
kind of weird because sometimes you like see somebody
And then
that
you
met
called
on
him by their Instagram name too. Like,
Yeah.
that's the worst.
That is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like, I like that marketplace because even locally, you're meeting people from like
That you
like
wouldn't,
you
even
wouldn't have
meet.
met.
Yeah.
You would have never met.
Yeah.
And I think that's super dope. Super dope. Man.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Now that makes me wonder if we had been at the event before we followed each other on Instagram, if we would have
Talked.
if we would have
yeah.
walked up to each other and spoken. Maybe you would have walked up to me, but I don't know if
You
I-
had,
I
you
would not have
had
walked
your
up to
camera
you.
in your hand though, so maybe.
No, I didn't have a
Oh, you
camera.
didn't?
Nah,
I
he didn't bring the camera this
No,
time.
I didn't. Yeah.
Dang. That is true. It's like an icebreaker, like you said.
It
It's
is.
an icebreaker.
Yeah.
All right. Get into community stuff. Because that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
Community. Lancaster community. What do you want to see? Like, what's your, like, if you had a vision of what could you build here? Or like you talked about like cultivating young people, but like what
Yeah.
does that look like tangibly to you? Like, what does a space for you look like here? Yeah, see, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
All right. So space wise, one is what I'm trying to do, the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
I work out of a studio. We have a studio,
Yeah.
on King Street at Fort LA, and when we're not shooting, the space is not being used to its fullest potential. So, what I want to do with the workshop is create that environment and space and culture, and hopefully we can then have like spaces that are dedicated to this stuff. But when you have access to resources that others don't have, like for example, not every photographer at my age or my level has their own studio.
Yeah.
Not a lot of photographers have their own studio in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like in bigger cities, it's easier to find spaces you can rent out to shoot. It's easier to find like a studio where you can rent out space, but like not here as much. So the workshop is one of my visions on my thoughts. I'm tripping over my thoughts, but like one of the ways in which we can get to this goal and vision that we all have, that we all share. But then another thing is like, I feel like one of the barriers in Lancaster is the cultural barriers that come with the different demographics that are here, and the demographics that own spaces, and then what gets put into those spaces.
Yeah, I mean,
and
you
so,
can speak legally. White people own the spaces.
Yeah.
So black people aren't getting space in there. Like, yeah,
So-
that's really what it is.
So then also that creates like different genres that are preferred. So like there's different genres in art. There's different genres in photography. There's a lot of like hipster photographers in Lancaster. There's a lot of like gothic style photography in Lancaster, and that's I'm not knocking their style or anything,
Right.
but that's not me. You know what I mean? And like I want to see more of the portrait and fashion side of things, and just something that's different.
Right.
But
you don't want to stop that, but you want the market to be more diverse.
yeah, I want it to be more diverse. And I'm sure that's something Keisha struggles with like different genres. The genre in paintings that's on Prince Street versus the genre she can find in Philly and fit into. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's that like for you? Like walking down Prince Street, and like what is it being an artist here with your style?
I mean, here walking down Prince Street, I guess you don't really feel welcome walking into the galleries. Not to say that I haven't been in them, but just like the style of work, it's not really, I guess, diverse enough, or like where they get their artists from. I'm not sure where they get them from, but I guess just from difference from here in Philly.
Yeah.
My work pertains to that audience.
Yeah. And I think that one thing that's interesting about Prince Street is that Prince Street in that section doesn't actually make up like the majority of Lancaster City. It just makes up kind of what sells. I mean, it makes up kind of, it fits into like the conservative and like white hipster scene that Lancaster is kind of like trying to evolve into, but it doesn't represent like the city at large. So that there's a bunch of people who are walking through there who are probably feeling the same way. So ideally, what does a space look like for you? Like, what do you want that to look like?
I guess just somewhere where all the creatives can go and do what they do, and kind of chill with each other and bounce off each other ideas, and just kind of a place that people can call home to create.
So like a creative home.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah. I do. Just somewhere where people just can.
Yeah, like if you're tired of being in your room by yourself, painting all the time, go over there
and just hang with friends.
Yeah,
I like that idea a lot. Yeah. You didn't say that earlier. I like that. I like that.
Would you say, like, I've been to a couple of the galleries on Prince Street. Would you say that the styles there are it's either European style paintings or it's like Pennsylvania Dutch?
Pennsylvania Dutch, definitely.
Those are the two.
It's definitely like landscape, cow type, Amish type paintings.
Right.
Yeah. If it doesn't look like
I don't paint anything like that, and not to sound, I'm half white, but I don't really paint white people because it's not what I see every day in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I want to see art that I can relate to that's hanging on the wall, like when I walk into a gallery.
Yeah. I feel that a lot because, I mean, I've been to all the galleries on Prince Street multiple times because I'm a fan of art, and like I have nothing against the art. Like I think it's good art. I just don't think it's art that represents the people that are here. Yeah,
because most of the people who go downtown, they don't live in the city at all. They live like Hempfield, all these other places that don't. You're not here living in the
block.
City. Yeah, you're not like you're not living here every day. Like so.
Huh. So like ideally, let's say like we can get this space, this like work creative space. Like, where would you want it to be? Would you want it to be right in the middle of that mess, or do you have like an ideal like location where you would actually want it?
I mean, the petty in me wants to say, just throw it in the middle of all their stuff, but like I feel so like you want people to see it though too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I feel like it needs a downtown presence.
Yeah, it needs to be here.
It needs to be relevant, you know, It can't be sectioned off somewhere. It has to be seen with everything else as being seen.
Yeah.
You know, like the same crowd that gets to walk into the nice fancy
Gallery Row.
European style gallery should that same like client that walks into that shop should be able to just walk next door and
Yeah.
see like African
different
American,
world,
Puerto
yeah.
Rican, like
Yeah.
whatever style art is
Yeah.
is there. You know, I feel like the yeah, we just need to expand what's represented.
Yeah.
I feel like yeah, we just lack representation.
Yeah.
Equal
And this
representation.
this
not-
goes along with gentrification too. And so gentrification downtown Lancaster, you guys, I mean, Keisha, you've been here your whole life. So talk to me a little bit about before Prince Street. Talk to me about a little bit before Gallery Row was what it is. Talk to me like what was it like growing up here compared to what it is now?
I mean, it's definitely changed in
Yeah.
like the looks and like the businesses and stuff that are around, like boutiques and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't really, being a kid, I wasn't really looking for the art kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I mean, they probably been there for a
They've
while.
probably been there for a while. Okay. So you haven't really seen the evolution as much because you weren't looking.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So you're just seeing the modern thing.
Yeah,
That's
I'm just seeing
interesting.
over the past few years.
Okay. What about over the past few years? Because, like, we have that big stuff happening on Queen Street. We have that stuff happening across from Telus. With the gentrification that's happening now, like, what are your feelings about some of that?
I feel like it's a bit too much, some of it. I mean, I get it. It's going to bring more people to the city, but it's running the people out that have been here and don't really get a chance to have a say in what changes and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel that, too. We talked a little bit last episode about kind of the effects of gentrification and how damaging that could be, especially to some of our homeless people.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of missed that portion of Lancaster, how many homeless people, like, sleep in Ben's Park and things like that, and, like, how renovating that whole area is probably going to kick a lot of them out.
Yeah.
And that's hard to see, to be honest. I think that's...
and they have all these homeless people, but they're building all this stuff,
Yes.
not expanding the homeless shelter, like, where more people could fit.
Yeah,
But
they're trying to bring more people here, but kick out the people that have been here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, we just live in a society like that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like the hard question then is like, economic expansion or development is inevitable if you're in an area like Lancaster that is doing really well economically. You know, Lancaster keeps getting wealthier and wealthier.
Yeah.
So, and it's inevitable that like it's gonna get more developed, and people who can afford are gonna get pushed out further and further. But the tough question is like, yeah, gentrification is morally frowned upon, but how do you develop an area or a city without without pushing people out?
Yeah, without the negatives of gentrification?
Yeah, like how do you develop?
I think that's a great question.
Yeah, how do you develop a city without?
Yeah, like it's like
people
you
getting
won't
pushed
grow
out?
if you don't do it.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. I
It's
don't
like a
think
double-edged
that.
sword.
I think that's. I don't know if that's 100% true. And I think this could be heavily debated because I'm not the expert on this topic.
yeah,
But I think that there is a way to do community development that is both positive to the people that are already there and the ones that you want to attract. But it's only by doing kind of urban redevelopment. Like, there are low-income areas of Lancaster that should be getting new roads, should be having some of their houses fixed up. Things should be changing without rent going up. And there should also be the opportunity to have a new cafe. The problem is I feel like people trade one life for another
yeah,
versus seeing how, like, we could do both.
yeah,
Like, and I think there is a really good possibility to do both. But the problem is that people are so focused on the economic development that they'd rather just keep getting richer than say, why don't we plan to get richer while making sure that we don't have to lose these people that are already here.
Yeah.
And it's like the greed of money, I think that's what it is. People are more people are more concerned about getting a paycheck than saying, well, we have a homeless problem here, so why don't in the midst of this we fund our coalition to end homelessness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and maybe they are, I don't know, but like that's kind of where I see like gentrification issues as like such a negative. And when I see gentrification happening, you know it's so bad because like sooner than later, there are going to be areas of the city that are run down where you're going to start seeing like white people buy houses there because they know the gentrification is like going to make its way over there.
Yeah.
And then soon enough, the poor people who have been living there their whole lives and raising their family there, they're going to be kicked out. And I said this last time that they're going to be pushed to York. And like that's what's going to happen instead of finding a way to do housing and to do development that benefits everybody. And there has to be a way with all the resources that we have.
Yeah.
Like
I think like that's an issue that has to be worked from ground up because I don't think just to set the record straight, I'm not like pro gentrification or like
of course.
or saying that people should just be kept where they live. But I just want to like play a neutral argument right now.
Go ahead.
Like I don't think it's like very realistic to expect that if value is added to your neighborhood that your rent will stay the same. When value is added, costs
go up. Yeah.
So like I think that this is a social issue where one, things like education, which you're passionate about, education should be invested in so that these like poor communities can have better chances and are better equipped to be more productive individuals. Communities, opportunities in general, infrastructure in poor communities and opportunities should be opened up so that minorities can be able to become more productive communities so that they can afford more. But as value is added to the city and to neighborhoods, like costs are gonna go up, and it's inevitable in a capitalist society. That's just how it works.
Which we can touch on that too. We
like
talked about capitalism.
That's like the show, the pay gap. Like
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think you're right, and I think maybe our focus shouldn't be like how do we do gentrification better? How do we combat poverty better?
Yes. How do we close the wealth gap?
Yeah.
That's where the issue is.
And then we can segue. We've had this. I don't know. Me and Keisha hasn't been, but we've had this conversation. Do you think that's possible in a capitalistic, like government? Do you think that's possible with capitalism?
No, it's not. It's not possible. You like the one of the quotes in the documentary I told Keisha to watch. It was talking about the wealth gap, and it was saying in a capitalist society, it's not very realistic to think that people of color can just simply catch up and do well for
like
themselves.
Hundreds of years ago, all that we're not catching up still.
You can't give somebody a 400-year head start and then tell the guy behind him to catch up or it's on you. Like
I think I think you're right. Capitalism and I've always wondered this because like all of the famous like black activists have all been socialists. Like they've all said it, especially MLK. MLK was a huge socialist, and I think that's correct because like. We have to think like we're not even just talking slavery. Slavery would be one thing to catch up from, but what happened like between slavery, Jim Crow, and that whole era right there is really what set especially black people back even further, because in that time period there was no work. And like I've done a lot of reading about that time period because it's so interesting to me that like especially men in that era could not find work. Oh yeah, the camera went out. And so I think that to say that it's even possible for us to catch up at all would be unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like you said, like capitalism, there's no way capitalism can benefit people of color.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a quick break real quick and get the camera back working. Oh, there it is. All right. Cool. We are back. We were in the middle of a very fun conversation. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say my piece about this, and I'd love for people to comment on this because I'm really interested in having this conversation with people because I want to understand why people are pro-capitalist and why people are pro-socialist, because this has been a huge thing for me right now. But as I'm reading history and as I'm getting through like just all the different kinds of oppression that were inflicted on people of color and not even just black people, the American dream and the capitalistic journey just don't even make sense to me. And I'm not even sure that I'm pro-socialism forever. And I know when I said we had this conversation, I was like, I'd be even interested in having like socialism for like a 10 to 15 year period of America so that everybody just becomes equal. And then we could go back to capitalism and actually have it be a thing that works here.
Yeah.
But there, like if you look at the wealth of like the 1%, I think only like 2 to 3% are black people, and like or people of color at all. And like that's astonishing, because you have to think about how much of that wealth was built over the period of time where like slaves were doing work and building plantations, over the time that like men couldn't vote, couldn't work in politics, especially black people. And then like also like black people were working in fields and picking cotton still long after slavery because that was the jobs that they could get. Yeah. So they were still funding this system that oppressed them this whole time. Yeah. So, yeah, and I think that's one of my biggest issues with capitalism in today's society, and that's a deeper conversation. And you should definitely slide in my DMs and have it with me.
You sound ready.
Because I'm with it. And I'm not talking about debate. I'm just talking about like let's learn off each other. Let's get somewhere. Yeah. I like conversations like that. All right.
So hold on. Have a comment for the last topic we were just.
Oh, cool. Go ahead.
Had. So, like I think, what as far as gentrification and closing the
he's
wealth
going way
gap.
back. All right, cool.
I'm going way back.
Yeah, let's do it.
We were not. We were not done with that. But I think that like you said, a lot of the American economy was built off of the 300 years of free labor that they had through slaves, you know, and black people were not able to make any type of wealth during that period. And then slavery gets abolished, and you still have laws that prevent black people from coming up in the social ladder. Things like terrible interest rates and if you could even get a bank loan as a black person.
We didn't even hit white flight.
Yeah, and
then devastated communities.
Yeah. And then so like if the only way to stop people getting pushed out of areas when those areas are getting developed is property ownership. Black people do not own property.
Right.
And the reason you get pushed out of your neighborhood when it gets developed is because you do not own where you live.
Yeah.
So if you live in a neighborhood that's getting developed and you own your house, you're happy about that because your property value is going up, and you can either keep the house or sell it, but that is you're gaining wealth from a neighborhood getting better, you know.
Yeah.
But as a black person, that added value means like your costs go up and you get pushed out.
Yeah.
So the way to close a wealth gap is just black people and people of color owning their homes. And that's something that isn't really talked about.
Yeah.
But it's one of the main reasons, you know.
None of my family owns a house. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like that's one of the pillars like of the wealth gap. Like if you're in a white family and your family owns a home, then and they don't have to pay like they own a home that their great grandparents own, and they just own property for generations. They don't have to worry about a mortgage or like stuff like that. You know, you already have that stepping stone to like build off of.
Yeah.
And you know, and then your parents can help you buy a house because they already own property.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And that just
and not all white people are like that. I mean, I come from a white family being adopted, and we're not rich. But I do get what you're
Yeah.
saying. It's a generational thing.
it's a generational thing.
Yeah, and there's a Tuzla real estate fund. They're out of Atlanta, and that's what they do. They were
Okay.
one of the largest black-owned crowdfunded things that helps black people buy real estate, and it's like super dope.
That is
You should
Okay.
definitely you should check it out. And they're huge because you can, and it's very affordable too. For like $500, you could like be a part owner in what they do.
Yeah.
So like they're very easy to invest in as well. Like they have a very like community mindset behind them, and I really fuck with that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really with it. I'm really with that idea actually. And I don't know, maybe following the Tuzla model would be kind of like how you do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how that works. And I guess
And a comment on your capitalism socialism thing.
Yeah.
Neither of them are perfect systems.
Yeah.
I think there should be a hybrid
Yeah.
of the two. You know, capitalism, like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere. But
Yeah.
we need like socialist values and programs, things like affirmative action or affirmative action is even like a trigger word now. You can't say that around certain people or you'll get into an argument. But like stuff that is meant to give people a helping hand, you know, because if strict capitalism, you're on your own no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, but we do have like socialist ideals and things that we introduce into our.
It's just taking a mix.
Yeah,
taking a mix.
It has to be a mix.
And I think that's kind of like something you could say about like the overview of like America right now is like we really need to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
Like from politics to social views to everything, like we really need to figure out what that middle ground is.
Yeah.
And how we evolve past where we are right now. And I know I said we weren't going to talk too much about politics. I'm really sorry. but I think like even if you look at the country right now as a whole, like we just need that middle ground pretty badly.
Definitely a middle ground. But yeah. Let's go back to talking about art.
Let's talk about art. Let's talk about art. Let's talk about art. Let's get off the happy stuff.
Let's talk about happy stuff.
All right. You got anything else to say about your art, Keisha?
Follow me.
Follow you? How can we follow you?
On Instagram, all my social handles are Keisha Finney. KEISHA.
We'll put it.
F.
I'll put it down
as
here.
in Frank.
Yeah.
FI and then IE. That's how I gotta say on the phone. You know they don't hear you.
Yeah.
They think it's like something else. But
Okay. Keisha Finney.
yeah, follow me. Hit me up.
Follow
somewhere.
Keisha. Cool.
Mine is MOZ258.
MOZ 528.
258.
258.
Come on.
MOZ258.
All right, I'm with it. All right, anything you guys want to say before we close out?
Thank
Anything
you for
else?
having me.
Oh,
Yeah.
bet.
I don't usually do this.
Yeah.
But
This was an exclusive.
Happy Black
Yeah.
History Month.
Happy Black History Month. That's for sure.
Definitely never done anything like this before, but it was cool.
Cool.
Definitely
I'm glad you
something
guys
to
were
do
here.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching. I'm glad we got to bring some artists in because they are here as well and they're dope people. And yeah, thanks for watching the show. I'll be back next week.